morning, good afternoon, good evening, good any old time that you happen to be tuning into It's Naturally Nat with me. The weather's brisk and I feel like cooking, but I don't always have a lot of time. And as you know, your probably favorite dishes to make when you don't have a lot of time are crock pot dishes or casseroles, because they go in the oven or they go in the crock pot. You take off, you go do your busy stuff, and that's great, right? And then the food is yummy and good. But another thing that people tend to forget about fast dinners, one thing that they forget about fast dinners is that skillet dinners can be just as fast, if not faster, than can crock pot and casserole dinners, right? Like the one I did a couple weeks ago. Hi there, fuzzy little one. I got a fuzzy little one visiting. Anyway, one of those skillet dinners I did a couple weeks ago with the kielbasa and the cabbage and the pierogi. Remember that one? That one came together so fast. Today I have another one that comes together. A skillet dinner that comes together really fast and is yummy and is very versatile. And you can make it with whatever stuff you got to get through in your refrigerator and a few pantry ingredients as well. Okay, so I got a squash and a zucchini, and they were kind of starting to get kind of dimply, like got to use them up right away. And that's what's featured in this meal, along with peppers and onions. But you could also make this with other varieties of squash or other varieties of zucchini. Basically, you could do this even with carrots. You'd have to just lengthen the cook time. Any of the other of those harder vegetables, you could do this with butternut squash that was peeled and cut real small. I would microwave it first before we begin the skillet process. This is just a skillet chicken, zucchini and squash and vegetable dish that goes over, and I'll talk about this in a little bit, that goes over orzo, right? Orzo gets overlooked. I don't know why it does. It's my favorite pasta, and it comes together in a pan so quickly because it's little. It's a little pasta. It only takes like about 7 to 9 minutes to make. Anyway, let's get started with this zucchini chicken skillet dish that could feed 3 to 4 people or just you with a little leftovers, okay? So I got my pan heating up. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put in some avocado oil into this, about a tablespoon. If you didn't have that, you could use canola oil, or you could probably use olive oil because you're going to cook briefly at a kind of high heat, but not for a long time, so I think you'd be okay. We'll let that get heated up. I have here some chicken tenders. Now, I like keeping unbreaded chicken tenders in my freezer because these take no time at all to thaw out. By the time you come home from work, take your chicken tenders, put them in a bowl of hot water, and then go change your clothes. They're thawed out. I'm not kidding you. So I cut these real small, and I'm going to dry them off now. And then I'm going to, when this gets hot enough, we're going to go ahead and saute these. These will take no time at all because it's white meat, number one. And number two, it's cut small. Okay? But we do have oil heating up in here, so we want to make sure that we get those patted down pretty dry. Okay? And I'm going to do it simply with these heavy-duty paper towels, and I'll put them on the tray, or the plate here. I mean, you don't have to do this step, but if you don't, you get a lot of snap and sizzle from your oil, which is all fun and games until it hits you on the until it stings you on the arm, right? Then it's not so much fun and games. Then I'm going to season this up with just simple salt and pepper, right? The big thing that comes into play is the kind of Asian-ish sauce that is made out of soy and rice vinegar and honey. I used a blend of hot honey that I made on this channel a few weeks ago and plain regular honey because I'm experimenting. This is a new dish that I decided out of necessity to get rid of some of these veggies to make, right? Now that I got this kind of spread out a little bit, I'm going to season that after I give my hands a little wash. Threw a little water in there, just a very, very tiny droplet to see if the oil was getting hot enough, and it is. It is just the right seasoning, in fact, or just the right temperature. In fact, how cool is this little gadget, eh? Got this for Christmas. In fact, I'm going to turn this down just a little bit because sometimes my oven can get a little weird. Now, how much meat do I have here? I would say this is about a half a pound. I'm guessing. You could make a pound if you wanted to make this for 3 to 4 people. This recipe, which I'll put down in the show notes, is really forgiving because you could just skip the meat, the protein, the chicken, and you could just you could put tofu in this. You could put tempeh in this. You could put shrimp in this. That would be good. Any of those proteins, and in any amount. Like this is almost, I think, when I get this all said and done, it's going to be a little bit too much for me. So it's probably going to be 2 meals. So if you wanted to make this for 3 or 4 people, just add more chicken or add more vegetables or add both. We're going to let that go. I like to put the timer on just to remind me how many minutes I have the protein going. I got it set for like 5 minutes. And while that's sitting there for a few minutes, we'll go ahead and throw together this sauce. Okay? So, I got, oops, I missed a piece of chicken. There we go, get back in there. In a small bowl, you'll want to combine a 1/4 cup of honey. Now I used half pot honey that I made myself on the channel a couple weeks ago. A mixture of hot honey, and then I used a little regular honey. Small bowl, put that down. Set down my spatula for a minute, check my meat. I actually need a skillet, just like this one, but in between size. One a little smaller than this, but not real small. And I don't have one. I think I have one in storage, but like a lot of things in storage, I don't know where it's at. Okay, so we got the oil in there. We're going to want to add 3 tablespoons of water to that sauce. We're going to want to add 2 tablespoons of soy. We're going to want to add 2 teaspoons, not tablespoons, of rice vinegar. Love rice vinegar. Then we're going to want to add 2 teaspoons of cornstarch. And I'll get out of there, cornstarch. You didn't want to get out. And we're going to whisk it in a minute. Gives this chicken another turn. You know what else you could do, and I thought about this earlier today, is you could also use chicken breasts here. Boneless, skinless chicken breasts, and cut them in small pieces, much like what I did here. In fact, I have 2 packages of boneless, skinless chicken thighs in my freezer, my deep freeze in the base or in the garage. But I've got a lot of game on it in that freezer, and I'd have to dig and dig and dig and take everything out. I hate that about chest freezers, when you have to dig and dig to find something. Drop me a note in the comments if you find that annoying too, that whatever it is that you want out of the doggone chest freezer is always at the bottom. This is coming along pretty good. Keep her there at that medium-high heat, and we'll go back to this sauce here. Let me get a whisk. And my honey is just a little old, and you know, honey doesn't really spoil. I've used honey that was years old, but it does crystallize and becomes knottier to work with. So depending on how fresh your honey is, right, you might have to whisk and whisk and whisk and whisk. This wasn't too bad though. Now, this little sauce, what gives it that Asian-esque flavoring, if you will, I think is this rice vinegar. And then the fact that you've got this sweet and tangy and salty all at once kind of feeling to it. And because of that, we're going to finish this dish with sesame seeds, which you should always keep in your freezer because they keep forever. And we're going to finish it with also some green onions that I had to get rid of. So this is so versatile in that you can just use it to get rid of so many things, right? Maybe there's a sale on chicken and you got a whole bunch of new chicken, but then you went, oh no, I got some of that old chicken in the bottom of my chest freezer I gotta use. Not a problem. Get some veggies together, make this dish, and throw that new chicken in the in the deep freeze, and don't worry about it. You can use up the old chicken. Now we're starting to get a little bit of nice color in here, right? And we've almost gone 5 minutes with this. And I'm going to take one of the bigger guys, pop them open, look at the center. Done. Don't even need to temp it. I can just tell, right? 5 minutes, high heat, small pieces. That's the secret to fast cooking. Okay? So, I'm going to set this aside. I'm going to get out a plate. I'm going to get this chicken, put this on the side. There's that timer reminding me. Everybody needs to use timers. They're wonderful. That's reminding me that indeed I did 5 minutes on this. Okay? Now I'm going to add a little bit more oil, about a tablespoon. And that skillet is good and hot, right? We're going to kind of be deglazing with a new batch of oil here. I'm going to add maybe a little bit more oil. And we're going to be doing the vegetables, okay? And you want, if you're going to use zucchini or yellow squash, because the centers are kind of softish, you want them in fairly big chunks. Don't be cutting them all thin and delicate and fancy, because they'll fall apart faster. So we're going to go ahead. Actually, I'm not going to put those in first. I'm going to put in the onions. And I think I forgot to mention earlier, I had some red and some orange peppers that I needed to use up. Not as badly as I needed to use up these. These tend to, okay, quiet. These tend to, zucchini and squash tend to go bad faster in your fridge, and cucumbers, than do these. I don't know why. These are just hardier. Or so it seems anyway. Now we're going to go ahead, give these a little extra long cook. You know what I forgot to do, folks? I forgot to cut up some garlic. So I might do that, or I might use garlic powder. You know, sometimes with some cooking, skillet cooking, things like this, it doesn't really matter. It's going to taste fine either way. If I use fresh garlic, if I use jarred garlic, or if I use garlic powder, we'll see. We'll see where the moment carries me in a few minutes. Okay? We're not going to worry about that fond building up on the pan here, that cooking stuff. That's fine. That gives it flavor. It's going to kind of turn into the sauce when we add the actual sauce. Right? We're going to give ourselves, I'm going to set the timer again just to remind me how long I got these going. 2-3 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and put in, I'm going to go ahead, I think these are good. I'm going to go ahead and put in the squash and the zucchini. Sometimes if I want to speed up just a little bit, it's kind of like you're steaming it. In fact, it is what you're doing. And sometimes I put a little water in here, and that will speed up the cooking process. Just like that. I think I've said before on this channel that eating the colors of the rainbow is always good for your health. And you gotta say, there's a lot of colors going on in this pretty dish, right? What we'll also want to do at this point, because there's seasoning in the sauce, but there's no seasoning on these vegetables. We're going to go ahead and hit it up with a little bit of salt, kosher or regular is fine, and with my jazzy electric, or not electric, but rechargeable lit pepper mill that I got for Christmas. Thank you, Nikki, my sister. Love that. Now, since zucchini and squash are more of a watery vegetable, whereas red onion and orange peppers and red peppers are not as watery, I cooked out that little bit of water I threw in here that sped up the cooking. And what's coming out now, which you can see in the steam, is the water from the zucchini, right? And the squash. This recipe, it's funny that I'm making this and I'm craving this because this is also a recipe I would make in the height of summer with garden vegetables, right? Pulling out a few of your squash and your zucchini out and thinking, what am I going to do with this? You're going to do this. You're going to make this sauce and you're going to make this delicious, quick skillet dish. Okay? It's been going, what, about 3 minutes now. Now I'm turning the timer off. I'm going to give this a really good stir because remember, we're breaking down the honey, but we're also making sure that every bit of that cornstarch is being utilized here with the honey, water, soy sauce, rice vinegar, and the cornstarch. I think I used up the last of my soy sauce, and I happen to have a bottle of tamari up there. I was looking at it right there up by my refrigerator, and I threw that in. And tamari is just a soy sauce that doesn't have any gluten in it, I believe. I'm going to go ahead and add that to this sauce. And two things are going to happen. The vegetables are going to continue to cook, and the sauce is going to thicken. Now, how thick you like your sauce is up to you. If you want it a little thicker, right, after cooking it, we're going to time it again. We're going to give it 2 minutes so we can keep an eye on it. If you like yours a little thicker, you can always put a little bit more of the slurry in. In fact, that sauce that we made, I see just a little bit of honey and cornstarch in here, is actually a slurry. And a slurry is just a sauce that has, ooh, there it's starting to thicken. A slurry is a sauce that has water or some liquid in it and cornstarch, and it thickens, right? I love them. The only thing is you can't have them over a high heat, or at least this is my experience, for a long period of time because they break. Ooh, this is getting nice and thick. Now I'm going to taste this for salt. I don't think it's going to need anything. If anything, maybe just a little bit of pepper. That is really good. The honey makes it kind of fruity in a weird way. And I love it. I love it. It's great. Oh, we need a fork because we're going to make sure that the zucchini... Oh, yeah. Yep. Yep. It's about there. Plus, since I'm going to make this for my dinner tonight, and I'm doing this in the early afternoon, I'm going to end up microwaving this because I'm going to put this in the fridge and it'll cook a little further. So if this is just a tiny bit less cooked than I wanted, then that is absolutely fine. We're going to go ahead and add our chicken back in and any juices that might have accumulated in the pan or on the plate. Woo! This is smelling good and getting thick. In fact, I'm turning it down. Look at that. Look at that. I wish you could smell this. It just smells clean. 2 minutes right on the nose. I don't think I need another 2 minutes, but I'm going to set it for 2 minutes anyway. I turned the heat down. So pretty. The only thing that would make it prettier, in my opinion, is if I'd have turned the volume up on the red peppers, but I didn't have any more. That's what makes skillet cooking fast and easy, and there are no rules. They're kind of like casseroles. They're really flexible. This would look prettier with more red pepper, but I didn't have any, and the point was to use up the vegetables that I did have. Now, more on this. Orzo is so underused. Growing up, I don't think my mom ever ever bought or made orzo, right? But what I like about it is she looks a little like she's rice, right? But she's not. She's soft and delicious. I made, this is a quarter of a batch because this is just for me. So I used, what did I use? I used a quarter a cup of orzo. A cup, was it, of water? Well, anyway, I just reduced the measurements in here so it would make just enough for me. I'm going to turn this way low. I'm going to go ahead and plate this bad boy. And then you can see for yourself how absolutely pretty and healthy this dish comes together at the end. And again, you know, real time here. I'm not editing anything out or in or whatnot. It's as long as it takes to make this video and your dinner's done. You double and triple the ingredients if you're making it for yourself for several evenings, dinners, if you're one of those type of people, or if you're making it for your family. Ooh, that looks so pretty. Let's go ahead and move these things over. I cannot wait to eat this later. Ooh. Oh yes, we hear you. As a reminder to kill the heat, turn it off. Oh my, that's pretty. I want every drop of this sauce. Look at that. Look how you can tell that it's nice. This is the perfect consistency for the sauce because of the way that it coats the spoon, right? In fact, like the chef showed you, see? Not watery. We don't want watery. This is yummy. Woo! Mine has just an itsy bitsy bite to it, but that's because I use hot honey rather than straight up honey. You can just substitute straight up plain honey for yours, and if you don't want any heat at all, and it'll be just fine. I'm going to put some of these green onions. Again, I had to get rid of them. On top, I'm going to put a little bit of these sesame seeds. You could toast them if you wanted to be fancy schmancy. Now, you tell me, does that or does that not look as good as any fancy takeout that you could be spending these days in restaurants? They ain't cheap. Look at that. And folks, I just did this with chicken tenders I had in the freezer, that I always have in the freezer. It's basically a frozen pantry ingredient. And some vegetables, 3 of which I had to get rid of because they were getting a little old. I have to absolutely have a bite of this. This needs nothing. It's perfect. Perfectly sweet, perfectly salty, perfectly spiced. So, take an inventory. Ooh, had a little red pepper flake in there. That would also be good on top if you are a person who likes extra spicy. Put a little bit of red pepper flake. Excuse me, or hot sauce. It'd be so good on this. Take inventory this week. What do you got in the back of the refrigerator? What needs to be used up? Do you have some old zucchini? Do you have some old squash? Maybe some carrots that are growing mustaches. They're getting so old. Just remember, carrots take a little longer to cook. Do you have some cauliflower? Cauliflower takes a little longer to cook. That needs to get made. Make it, because this sauce is very versatile and would be good with any of those. Look in your freezer. Do you want to use shrimp instead of this? That would probably work great. Do you want to use dark chicken instead of the chicken tenders that are made with white chicken? Go right ahead. Those would work good. This would also be stunning with a boneless pork chop that you cut up into small pieces and fried. It would be absolutely wonderful. But make this. Let me know if you have something that you make that's similar in the comments. And wherever you're at, stay warm, stay safe, folks. It is chilly and slippery outside in a lot of the parts of the country right now. So please be safe too. But have a wonderful day, and I will see you next Sunday. Bye-bye.